because I am an empowerment coach, helping women navigate through major life changes, there are many moments of feeling powerless. So many factors can leave you feeling paralyzed or powerless. And some of the feelings that show up are fear, for one, which we know is false evidence appearing real. And I work on that. I work with my clients to dispel that. But there's also anxiety. Now, anxiety on a physical level is no different in anxiety than excitement. It's just how we label and perceive it. If my client is having a situation come up or a conversation or an event where they feel paralyzed by fear or anxiety, we work through some of that, but there are things that can be done at home that I'll share with you in hopes that that will help you go from feeling powerless to powerful. One way is to journal. And we've talked a lot about journaling, but it is such a powerful process. And how I set up the journaling for future events that cause anxiety or fear is to journal as if it already happened, and that what had happened in the most positive way possible. So you really let it flow, you get into details, and you write about things about how amazing it was. Things like, I was very calm, it went very successful, I inspired this person, I can't believe how well it went. In fact, it went so well that A, B, and C happened. And you include all the ways of how you feel great, and then explain how awesome it was and make it bigger and go deeper and get really, really detailed about the story of how successful that event was. Another way to drive this home is to actually record yourself. So you go on a rampage of joy and excitement and how it all went. And I tell my clients before they start speaking is to smile. And even if they don't feel like it at first, it is a proven fact that activating the muscles that you use to smile, it triggers the brain to produce more testosterone, giving you an improved feeling and lowering your cortisol. It has a calming effect. And so it helps you speak easier about how wonderful the event went for you. Now, you've journaled, so you've written it out and you spoke it. Another way is to visualize this. And usually this is done one-on-one in a coaching session. And if I had time, I would demonstrate, but I modified it so you can do it on your own. So basically what you do is you get real comfortable. It's almost a mini meditation. You get real comfortable and you take 4 deep cleansing breaths to get really, really relaxed. And then you imagine yourself traveling into the future to the event that brings you some anxiety or fear. And then you imagine going further 15 minutes past that event. And then you imagine the event had just happened in the best possible way, that it was a great success. And you see yourself in that moment, and you see what you're seeing. You make the colors bright. Since that event went in the best possible way, you feel those feelings, and you you see what you're seeing, you hear what you're saying. What are you saying to yourself? What are other people saying? What is it that you're doing? And you imagine that with a big smile on your face, and you just feel all the wonderful feelings of this event that happened in the best possible way. Then in that moment, you take a deep breath in and exhale, and you lock in that wonderful feeling. Then you, in your mind, you turn around and come back to the now with that big smile on your face, bringing that wonderful feeling with you to your present. You come back into your present and back into your body, into the now, feeling that wonderful feeling. You take a deep breath in and exhale to lock that into your present. And that will reinforce that the anxiety and the fear that you're feeling has dissipated, and you have the feeling in your present of that event going the way that it, or ending up going the way in the best way possible. You do those three things, and what it'll do is it'll change how you feel and how you behave and your actions while going to that event or having that conversation. It's a real game changer to be able to do that. Another thing is being overwhelmed. That can definitely make us feel powerless. It's either you have too much on your plate that you can't do anything, or you can't decide between a few decisions because each decision comes with additional stress. So you just are stuck. You just don't make any decision. So when you're in that boat, I say step one, the first thing that you need to do is self-care. I know it doesn't seem like the right time because you're overwhelmed, but the reason why you're overwhelmed is because you're stressed and you need to refill your cup. You have to take time out to fill your cup. You can do things like take a bubble bath, go to a restaurant and order dessert. It's a good idea to call up a lifelong friend or even a sibling and just talk about funny things you did as a kid and talk about really good memories to lift your spirits, or just have some fun. And Julie is going to be talking next about that. You're going to get a good list from her there. I'll move on to step two. After you've recharged a bit with self-care or fun, unless something needs urgent attention, the way to prioritize what you need to do is based on how you feel. So, for example, when I was divorcing my first husband, I had a laundry list of things to do, and I was paralyzed. I couldn't get anything done because there was just too much. I had to get daycare for my kids. That was a painful topic. I had to find a job. That was scary. I had to file the divorce papers. Less painful, less scary. So I headed down to the library. Back then, it was the late 90s, and we didn't have internet. So I went down to the library, I went down to the courthouse, talked to the clerks down there, and started on the divorce. So I picked the least stressful. And once you check something off your list, you start to get momentum. So you pick the next item that, hopefully you have some in your list that feel good, but when you're in a major transition, sometimes you don't. But you just pick the one that you feel less intensity around. And then step three, and this is important, is celebrate all of your accomplishments and make that mandatory. Because when you go from feeling paralyzed and you start chunking away at all the things that you have to do, celebrating is mandatory because you're doing an excellent job when you're coming from such a powerless state. Couple things that I came across that I want to share with you. I'm always adding new tools to my toolbox, and some of this is going to be familiar to you all. Some of you may not have heard of this, but definitely when it comes to feeling powerless, and going to powerful. Mel Robbins wrote a book called The 5-Second Rule. Again, many of you have heard it and read it. If you haven't, I highly recommend it. So the premise of that is you get an idea and you say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you just take action. And so that just catapults you instead of thinking of all the reasons not to do it. I like to call it the itty bitty shitty committee. When that starts kicking in, you tend not to take action. So for example, if, I should ask for a raise, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, pick up the phone and call to schedule a meeting. Before your brain starts to say, I'm afraid what my manager would say, he might say no, I haven't been at the company for long enough, I hate asking for raises, things like that. And then another one would be if you're at a party and you see someone that you would like to be introduced to or you'd like to meet, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start walking towards them. If you don't, then you're going to start saying things like, oh, they look too busy, I'm too nervous, maybe later. So that takes you from that 5-second rule immediately takes you from powerless to powerful. If you don't just do it, you'll be surprised that there's a ripple effect if you do. So if you don't, then you don't ask for the raise, then you don't get that promotion. Or if you don't go meet that person, it may not lead to meeting other people and even the person that maybe becomes your business partner. So you just miss out on so many opportunities if you don't take that 5-second rule and just take action. And something to think about on that. And I highly recommend that book. Now, recently, and I don't know how long this lady's been around. I didn't check when this TED Talk came out, but I came across an empowerment tool and I fell in love. And it's Amy Cuddy, and she does a TED Talk on power poses. She did all this research. There's the high power and the low power. So the high power poses is where you're stretching out big, when you're really excited, high energy, you just, won a big event, or, when a team wins and scores a goal, everybody jumps up and, does big power moves. And low power is curling in and being small. And I think we've all had days where we say we just want to curl up in bed and go to sleep. That is a small vibration move. So she talks about the high power move actually increases testosterone and lowers cortisol, which induces feelings of powerful and calm. And she mentions, and this was what caught my eye, she mentions the Wonder Woman pose. And she says, if you hold that pose for 2 minutes, it will increase your testosterone and lower your cortisol. So this is a great way to start your day. If you have a spouse or kids and you don't want them to see you doing the Wonder Woman pose, you can do it in the bathroom or closet. I know my husband might question me, or maybe not, if he saw me doing this, but I have a routine in the morning that I have a private space I can do the Wonder Woman pose. But it's a great way to feel a burst of empowerment when we're feeling powerless. Now, I use a lot of NLP submodalities in anchoring with my clients. Now, NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. And with anchoring, I demonstrated one before, but anchoring allows you to feel any state of emotion at any time you want. And the science of anchoring is actually based on the Russian researcher Ivan Pavlov from 1904. And some of you may be familiar with him, but those who are not, he worked with dogs and he created a neurological association that would instantly be triggered by providing a stimulus. So he would train dogs to salivate to the sound of a metronome. And I promise I will not make you salivate, but it will allow you to enjoy feeling empowerment at any time you want. Is there any queens out there that would like to take that would like to volunteer to have me anchor some empowerment emotion for you? So I'm looking for someone who's good at visualizing.
I kind of would like to try this. I don't know if anybody can hear me. Hi.
Hi,
We can hear
Celeste.
you.
How are
Hi.
you?
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of fun. I'm down.
All right. So where are you calling from? Where are you zooming in from?
I'm in Hot Springs, Arkansas right now.
Oh, okay. So I'm in Arizona and it was probably almost 100 degrees today. How's the weather there?
It is nice. I actually just put on a coat because it's starting to cool down for the
Oh,
evening. I
that
hate
sounds
to
like
brag.
heaven.
I know it is so hot over there.
Sounds wonderful. Well, thank you so much for volunteering. I promise this will be fun and I'll be easy on you. You're going to enjoy this.
Okay.
So when you think of empowerment, tell me some of the emotions that go along with feeling empowered.
Fearlessness, stable, strong. I think that's what's coming up.
All right. So fearless, what was the second one?
Like stable and like strong on your feet. Strong. Yeah.
Okay, so out of those three, which one would you like to feel?
Fearless for sure.
Fearless?
Yeah.
Good one. So you've had plenty of moments where you have felt fearless, haven't you?
I think so.
Okay, so this is how it's going to work. I'm going to just give you a rundown. So we're going to anchor on a knuckle. So you can pick, your left or your right side. So go ahead and pick one.
Okay.
And it doesn't matter to me which one, you just need to remember.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you to think of a time that you felt fearless. I need to write that down or I will forget. So I'm gonna ask you of a time, and then I'm gonna ask you if you remember a specific time. So you're gonna think about that, a specific time. And you can do this with your eyes opened or closed. That's up to you, however it's easiest for you to visualize. And then I'm going to ask you to go back to that time now, and then go. And while I'm doing this, keep in mind you're going to start feeling the feelings of fearless. And as you start feeling them, you go ahead and touch your knuckle. And when you're at the very height of fearless, you release. And that's going to take between 5 and 15 seconds on average.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you, I'll say, as you go back to that time now, go right back to the time, float down into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and really feel the feelings of feeling totally fearless. So that's what I'm going to say to you. Take your time, even after I'm done talking. If you're starting to feel that more and more, take your time, and then just release it when it's at the highest on that empowerment feeling of fearless. Does that make sense? Do you have any questions?
No, I'm not feeling very fearless right now.
Yeah, well, you actually are. You're being very brave, but we're gonna give you an anchor for fearless. Okay, so can you remember a time when you felt totally fearless?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you remember a specific time?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you go back to that time now, Go right back to that time, float down into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and really feel the feelings of feeling totally fearless.
Okay.
Okay. Can you remember a time that you felt totally fearless? Can you remember a specific time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as you go back to that time now, go right back to that time, float down into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and really feel the feelings of feeling totally powerful, totally fearless.
Man, I looked good.
Nice. All right. Can you remember a time when you felt totally fearless?
Yes.
Can you remember a specific time?
Yes.
Okay. As you go back to that time now, go right back to that time, float down into your body and see what you saw, hear what you heard, and really feel the feelings of feeling totally fearless.
Okay.
All right. So, can you remember a time when you felt totally fearless?
Yes.
Okay. Can you remember a specific time?
Yes.
Okay. As you go back to that time now, go right back to that time, float down into your body, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and really feel the feelings of feeling totally fearless.
I got it.
So, does it snow in Arkansas?
I am not sure yet. I actually just moved here not too long ago.
Oh,
I hope so.
all right. Well, that'll be exciting.
Mhm.
No, we don't get any of that out here. We have to drive 4 hours.
Yeah, I
All
believe you.
right. So now what I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and press on your ankle, on your knuckle, and tell me what you experience.
Okay, I like that.
Okay. Tell me more.
Well, uh, may I share what the fearless moment was?
Yes.
So it was walking into a job interview that I was not, you know, I had no qualifications. I had no business being there. And I gave myself this big talk in the car and I just walked in and I freaking did it. I got all dolled up. I did all the works and like, just like reliving that so much. It's like a warm stomach in my feeling and like kind of having like a physical connection, I guess, I can feel it. And ooh, I like that. Okay.
So that's something when you have another moment where you're feeling fearless, you can anchor that in. So it's active and alive in you. So you anchor that in. So the more that you have fearless moments, you continue to build on that anchor. And then throughout, your day or your week or whenever, when you're wanting to feel when you're not feeling empowered and you want to feel fearless, you can always press on that and you'll feel that sense of fearlessness come over to you, just like you did now when you went back to press on that anchor.
Okay. Ooh, okay.
Well, thank you. Go ahead.
Is it possible, like, I mean, the knuckle thing, is there other sort of fun senses to kind of play with that? Like to kind of,
Yeah, so there's many different types of anchor situations that you can do. I wanted to use this specific one. It's a shorter time frame that we have available. And it's easy to do on yourself as well. So
okay, cool.
well, thank you very much for being brave and fearless and being my volunteer. I really appreciate that, Celeste.
Thank you.